Chapter 7, 150. Not fantasy, but perspective. What science says about the limits of life. Old age is not a verdict. It's an inscrutable technology that humanity is only beginning to master. I clearly remember the moment I first heard the phrase, humans are potentially capable of living 150 years. My first reaction was like most people's, skepticism, then interest, then a firm conviction. This is not science fiction. It's a direction. It's a real vector of scientific development, and I want to follow it. The previous chapters of this book were about how to feel alive, not just functional. But now it's time to raise the bar, not just survive, not just avoid aging too fast, but to live longer than anyone before us. Biological limit. Where is the ceiling now? As of today, most scientists agree. The biological limit of human life is about 115 to 125 years. That's not an absolute maximum, but the average limit given our current way of living. But there are interesting exceptions. In 1997, Jean Calment, a French supercentenarian, died at 122 years and 164 days. This is officially documented. Yet each year, this limit is being revised. The reason? We are changing what we call aging. It's no longer a fatal process. It's a biological program that can be rewritten. Aging as algorithm. What do geneticists say? One of the most renowned scientists in the world, Harvard's David Sinclair, says, aging is not inevitable. It's a condition that can be treated. The essence of his idea is in changing epigenetic information. Our cells don't just wear out, they forget what they are. And if this memory can be restored, we can return the body to a more youthful state. Epigenetic reprogramming, activating sirtuins, restoring telomeres. All that sounds like sci-fi, but it's already happening in laboratories around the world. From gerontology to regeneration medicine. Medicine is changing. It's no longer just about slowing diseases. It's about restoring tissues, organs, functions. Startups are being created that work on replacing damaged cells, growing organs, clearing the body of old proteins. These directions are no longer theoretical, they're in clinical trials. We are living in an era where biotechnology moves faster than society's imagination can accept it. Forecast, will any of us live to 150? According to a study in Nature Communications, the probability of living beyond 130 years is no longer zero. And if new technologies are implemented, even 150 becomes a probability, not a fantasy. The key condition is to be in good shape when the breakthroughs arrive. And that is the essence of a personal longevity protocol. Keep yourself alive, clear and functional. So you not only live to see the future, but become a participant in it. Conclusion: longevity is not a goal, but a path. I'm no longer interested in simply a long life. I'm interested in a full life that is worth extending. 150 is not a number to cram into an ID card. It's a horizon that motivates me to sleep better, breathe deeper, and not postpone caring for myself until later. Which biological mechanisms I'm already activating daily. I'm not waiting for science to save me. I became the laboratory myself. After realizing that 150 years is not the limit of fantasy, but a real strategy, I took the next logical step. I stopped waiting for breakthroughs in biotechnology and began activating the mechanisms that are already within me. Yes, I am not immortal, but every day, every hour, thousands of processes are at work in my body that either lead me toward decline, or if properly managed, open the path to ultra-life. In this section, I'll reveal the most important things, the biological longevity mechanisms that can be activated not in a lab, but at home. And I'm already doing these, every day. 1. Autophagy, general housekeeping at the cellular level. The first thing I began practicing was intermittent fasting. Not because it's trendy, but because it stimulates a process called autophagy, the ability of cells to eat up damaged particles, old proteins, and toxic debris. This process was discovered by Japanese scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi, who received the 2016 Nobel Prize for it. When you don't eat for 14 to 16 hours, your body doesn't degenerate, it cleanses itself. I imagine it as internal cleaning, not with a mop, but with microscopic precision. 2. Mitochondrial renewal, an energy reset. Mitochondria are the batteries of my cells, but with age they degrade. To restore their efficiency, I intentionally use short bursts of cold breathing exercises, caloric restriction, and moderate physical challenge. This isn't training to the point of breakdown, it's energetic tempering. When you push your limits, mitochondria renew themselves, and the new ones work better, longer, more efficiently. 3. Neuroplasticity, the youth of my brain. If the brain stops, the body ages right behind it. So I learn, I memorize, I draw, I write, I create new things. Not for self-actualization, but so that every day my neurons keep moving. I don't watch TV, I watch unfamiliar films. I don't just read what I already know, I read what I fear I won't understand. This is gymnastics for the mind, and I feel how each effort forms new connections. It's not magic, it's neurobiology. 4. Anti-inflammatory mechanisms, defeating the silent enemy. Chronic inflammation is the most subtle enemy of longevity. I fight it not with pills, but with daily actions. Morning with warm water. Anti-inflammatory spices. Turmeric, ginger, garlic. Limiting sugar and ultra-processed foods. Movement that makes the lymph circulate. Every day I'm not just living healthy, I'm turning off inflammation that could have silently stolen years. 5. Circadian rhythms, harmony with time. Humans are made for light, but we live in screens. I return to basics, sleeping on schedule, morning sun, evenings without blue light. This restores my hormonal balance, recovery, lowers cortisol. I don't fight sleep, I yield to it, as to an ally, and it's at night that processes kick in which I had long undervalued. 6. Hormetic stress, dosed strain for strength. I've learned to respect stress. In small doses, it's medicine. Brief cold exposure, light fasting, a tough conversation, a hard problem, all provoke a hormetic reaction. And the body becomes stronger, more flexible, smarter. Every day I give myself a micro-dose of challenge, so I won't fear a big challenge. Conclusion: longevity doesn't start tomorrow, it's already in action. If you're waiting for some magic pill to give you another 50 years of life, you need to know, you already have everything to live longer. I'm no fantasist. I'm a realist who works with his body daily. And these mechanisms I activate, they don't cost millions. They're available, in simple steps. But they change everything. The psychology of longevity, faith, mission, absence of hustle. I'm not just living long, I live with meaning, and that's why, long. When I first started speaking out loud about my desire to live 150 years, most people smirked. Some openly laughed, others politely stayed quiet, thinking it was some odd phase. But the deepest question isn't how many years we can live, but why. Here begins the real longevity protocol, not with vitamins, not with biohacking, but with realizing that life is not just biology, but mission, faith, state of mind. Faith, not in religion, but in direction. I believe not in numbers. I believe in myself, in my path, and in the one who created me. This faith is not a set of rituals. It's an inner core that keeps me afloat, even in the deepest storm. When you're 80 or 100, the body weakens. But if faith burns inside, life doesn't go out. My protocol includes silence, prayer, gratitude, not because it looks nice, but because a peaceful soul is the best prevention of aging. Mission: why I get out of bed. People age not when they have many years, but when they have nothing left to strive for. When goals vanish, when you're not looking forward to a new morning, the body begins to shut down. I forced myself to ask, why am I needed in this world? That question opened up a second wind in me. My mission is to share this experience, to pass on knowledge, to be an example. And that keeps me from stopping. Longevity isn't just about health, it's about an unfinished business, and as long as that business exists, life continues. Absence of hustle, an inner space without noise. The world shouts, people hurry, the internet never sleeps, but the more I listen to the external, the more I lose myself. So I made a radical choice. I turned off part of the world. I don't read news every hour. I don't react instantly. I learn to live slowly but meaningfully. Hustle is a virus. It burns through resources, causes anxiety, stops the mind and body from recovering. True strength lies in an inner tempo. I choose my rhythm, and because of that I feel alive. Conclusion: psychology is not an addition to longevity. It's its foundation. You can eat right, move, drink the best water, but if inside there's no faith, no mission, no silence, you're merely surviving, not living. He who wants 150 years just to avoid death has already lost. But the one who wakes each day with clarity about why they have one more day, that person overcomes time. My personal vision of life after 90, 100, 120. I don't want to just reach 100, I want to arrive there on my own 2 feet, with a clear mind and fire in my heart. When I look ahead, I don't see old age, I see new seasons of life. Society ingrained the idea that after 80 life quiets down, shrinks, loses meaning. But I think differently. I plan to live long and not just live, but bloom at every stage. This section is my personal map of the future. Perhaps it will sound unexpected, but it's genuine. And it's part of my longevity protocol. 90 plus, 10 years of wisdom and freedom. At 90, I want to be like a monk with clear eyes and strong hands. I see myself alive, active, deeply peaceful. This isn't a period of decline, it's a time of harvest. I dream of walking in the woods daily, keeping a journal, reading new books, sometimes sitting in silence with those who know how to be beautifully silent. I want to have grandchildren or even great-grandchildren to whom I can pass not just my experience, but my energy. At this stage, I'll need no less discipline than in youth, but also more lightness. I see this age as a wise flowering, not a slow fading. 100 plus, silence in which life is heard. At 100 years old, I imagine myself as a walker of light who no longer hurries, because he can see it all. I won't be running marathons, but I will certainly move every day. I picture myself not living in the city, but among mountains, rivers, trees. This will be my period of deep inner revelations. I want to practice silence not in hours, but in days. To communicate only with those who can see with the heart. I see myself as a mentor, not on a stage, but at a table with tea. At 100, I don't plan on stopping. I'll just slow my pace so I can hear life better. 120 plus, a gate that opens only to those who are ready. To many, this stage sounds like fantasy, but I believe in it, and I'm preparing for it even now. At 120, I want to be an example, not a legend, but living proof that it's possible. This will no longer be a stage of action, but a stage of presence. I imagine myself sitting on a porch, gazing at the sky, watching the world I helped shape. This is an age without rush, an age where every word carries weight. I'm not striving for fame, but I do want to be a living witness that the soul does not age. Conclusion: seeing yourself in the future is the strategy of longevity. Most people can't imagine themselves after 90, and that's exactly why they don't get there. Because the brain sees no reason to preserve the body if the body has no future. My personal vision of life after 90, 100, even 120 is not a dream, it's a map. And each day I take small steps towards it, through rituals, through choices, through rejecting hustle, because living long is not a one-time project. It's a path, and we are already on it.